I've been finding the Psalms to be wonderful company during these days of lockdown. It always strikes me the psalmist would have made a very good Lancastrian because he's so clear and straightforward and honest and speaks the truth. If he's having a bad day, you don't half know about it. Take, for example, one of the best-known psalms, Psalm 23, which has that incredible line, "Though I should walk through the valley of the shadow of death." The valley of the shadow of death. It's such dark and threatening language. Well, it feels a bit like we're going through the valley of the shadow of death right now as this pandemic stretches on and means that all our deepest fears feel like they're being realised at the same time. For example, our fear of death as infection rates rise and the death figure goes up every single day. Or our fear of loneliness as lockdown cuts us off from the people we most love and puts pressure on all our relationships. Or our fear of fragility because of the impact on the workplace and the economy, so many losing their jobs, so many people's savings at risk as we look to the economic damage that's being done. Let's be honest, it's really tough right now. We're in the valley of the shadow of death. And we need to accept that, be honest about it, as the psalmist was honest about it, and try to be gentle with ourselves as we get through the next very tough few weeks. But with the psalmist, there is always a but. He never loses hope. "For you are with me," the psalm goes on. "Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Even in the valley of death, there's hope, because Jesus, the Good Shepherd, never leaves his sheep. So cling on to those signs of hope, those signs that Jesus, the Good Shepherd, is with us. When I start looking, I see those signs all over the place. Jesus, the Good Shepherd, is with us, first of all, through the gift of human ingenuity. One great sign of hope is the God-given gifts of medics and scientists who brought these vaccines, which will soon, we pray, begin to bring the pandemic under control and mean that we can turn to something more like a normal life. Jesus is with us through the power of compassion. It's been wonderful to see how Christians and voluntary sector groups have stepped up to the mark and served families and fed hungry children and reached out the hand of love to those who are lonely. Jesus, the Good Shepherd, is with us through the joyfulness of prayer. Because when we pray, we're never alone. We're in the company of Jesus and the intimate company of the fellowship of the believers, which is the church. And above all, Jesus, the Good Shepherd, is with us through his promises. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for his sheep, we read in St. John's Gospel. Jesus, the Good Shepherd, by dying on the cross, has entered into the valley of the shadow of death. He shared our suffering, our fragility, our mortality, and our pain, and by doing so, he rescues us and sets us free forever. If we can believe in him, then we're safe in his arms to all eternity. So why don't you read Psalm 23 sometime today? With the psalmist, first of all, let's be honest. We're in the valley of the shadow of death. Things are hard, and we need to be clear and open about that. But at the same time, don't be afraid. Jesus, the Good Shepherd, is with us. He's with us forever. And so hope and love will triumph.